Oh, hey, didn't see you there. It's been a minute. How you been? I've been pretty busy. But hey, let's cut to the chase. I finished the book. Like, properly, the major structural edits are done. There's still a little bit of work to do. It's not like finished, you know what I mean? But like, the hardest part is, and I'll tell you why, how was the hardest part. But first, let's just revel for a moment in the fact that it's finished. It's a good feeling, and I'm going to tell you more about it. Like, if you're interested in getting one, I highly recommend that you stick around because there's some benefits to it if you haven't heard. Perks, add-ons you can get, because we're doing a little bit of a pre-order instead of a Kickstarter this time, but it hasn't entirely been pretty. But yeah, I was supposed to take a break. I'll tell you more in a second. This how when I do this and I forget to take my keys out, if it ends up in the wrong part of the pocket, it's gonna end up like taking a piece of my hip with it. Ow. But first, a little confession. Before I took this little break, I said I'm trying to get better at being, more French. Give you a little bit of Cooper time. We'll see how well you can concentrate with this guy in the frame. Anyway, French families basically get 2 weeks off every 2 months. And by the families, I mean the kids do. And it ends up affecting everyone. It's pretty impressive when you're in Paris. But I'm trying to integrate a little bit more vacation time into my life. Be a little more French. Because if I want to do this sustainably, it takes a lot out of me. So let's take 1 week off every 2-ish months as best we can. So far, so good. I've done it twice, but I haven't fully mastered it yet. Haven't had a fun vacation, just a staycation crash. Recovery. It's basically a recovery period. And this one, the confession really is that I didn't do a full week. I didn't quite manage it because the edits for the book came in a little bit slowly, and I finished it last Tuesday. Do you want to snuggle? He's really in a sleepy, snuggly mood here. The other thing is, and if I draw attention to this, you might not be able to unsee it. It's mostly gone. Hopefully you can't see it anymore, but we'll talk more about this. There's a lot to talk about with this book, but in editing it, it's so stressful, so draining. This book has taken so much out of me. It's kind of crushed me. I got a sty. It went away. It came up a little bit, went away when I was waiting for edits. And then when I got the rest of those and I finished them on Tuesday, I sat down in the afternoon. I thought it was gone. By the time I finished editing, I met up with Lindsay and she just looked at me and was like, "What the hell is wrong with your eye?" Which is a weird dynamic because all the men in my life didn't even really notice it. All the women in my life immediately said something about it. This is why we need women in our lives to help us know when we might be sick and dying. Anyways, it really took it out of me last week. Not really much of a break, more of a sick week, but I needed it. And I feel really good now. Maybe not this good, but I feel pretty darn good. But of course, confession number 2 is that we are running late for Taco Tuesday. I also forgot to mention that I went to Paul's last show just over here, finished his tour out. That was really fun. And also a whole bunch of other things happened. I don't know, this last week's been a blur. How sleepy is Cooper back there? Honestly, kind of wish I had a permanent Cooper cam. I have no idea. He's just like, is he sleeping? Is he paying attention? Yep. This is amazing. Thank you, Miguel. Fresh from the States. Lunch and coffee aside, it is time to talk a little bit about this book, and more importantly, the pre-lunch party. Because I know a lot of you are going to be wanting to come through town this year. There's a couple things involved in this book release that are for people that are going to be in Paris or visiting Paris, including 2 events. Maybe a third. We'll see if people actually want to come to these events. And the first one requires a ticket. There's a lot of drama that does happen in my life behind the scenes. I mean, not that much. I think one of the glorious parts of dealing with therapy in my own life has been that I've cut a lot of the drama out, but some of it still happens. And one of the benefits to getting this book is you may not be up to speed like my friends are. I just gave them quite the dish over lunch today, but you will catch up on some real drama over the last 5 to 10 years. Let's talk about it. I was not kidding when I said that this book stole weeks of my life. And the sty, which hopefully you can't really see anymore, I feel like I'm 99% out of the woods on this one. It was a response to the stress of putting myself through it, putting my body through all of it. I'm really proud of this book. I'm really looking forward to sharing it. I'm going to end up talking about different parts of it as we go, but I did want to focus on my health a little bit because it ties into the fact that I just came off a break. I partially ruined that break by ruining my health, and now I'm feeling better, but I'm probably going to take another hit when I dive back into this book. It's an unfortunate reality that I'm coming to just expect, that if you've ever gone through therapy, maybe you've ever sat down to journal or to write something like this out, maybe you know that you're scared to do so. The pain, the literal pain, the actual my nervous system freaking out on me and making my eye inflate, the exhaustion, the depression, the really really dark periods, like losing days of my life in the same agony that I grew up in, like the just a state that puts me in a place where I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like, why am I here? Can I please just not be here anymore? That level of, and I wish it wasn't. I don't think I've ever really talked about this publicly, about just how dark it gets. But I think it's really important to share that, because I do think that on the one hand, what I've been telling people is I'm really really happy that I finished this book, because it was very painful and very difficult to get through. I've been thinking about it for a long time, had outlined it a year or longer ago. I'd gone through a few outlines, and then I finally started writing it last year. And when I got to the end of it, it wasn't written for anybody else. It was just written for me. And I was so grateful that I had gotten through it. It was very, very painful, very difficult to do, certain sections especially. But when I got done with it, I was like, you know what? Like, this is a gift to me, and I'm so proud of myself for finishing the book, but for still being here, for like getting to this place, for having built a life for myself that I generally actually really, really enjoy, and I'm really, really grateful for, which is not something that I would have been able to say for the first few decades of my life. Most of my life's been pretty freaking miserable, to be honest. And on the flip side, Richard has done such great work on structuring it and helping me to craft parts, add a few things. The funny thing is, I'm the kind of writer where we end up having to add more than we have to trim. Now I'm really proud of it as a book that I'm grateful that I've written for you. Because the other thing that I've said to friends a few times, and it sounds, I don't want to sound up my own butt, but I've seen so many comments when I've talked about my mom in the past, where I've come from, the things I've gone through. And while this book probably won't hit everything for everyone, it definitely won't. I think it's a book that if you enjoy, like if you just want to see behind the scenes what it's like to be a creator, what it's like to live in Paris, what it's like to build a life here from the standpoint of somebody who's, if you've been following me, you know what you're getting yourself into. But I understand that this book ultimately is something that is important to a small subset of my audience in a very vital way, because I needed this book myself. I wish that I had better understood where I came from earlier. And again, without saying too much or sounding too, I don't know, frou-frou or whatever's going on here, I think I'm just grateful that I finished it, first for me and second for you. And I hope that it finds the right people. I really hope it finds the right readers. And so I've committed to really doing a much better job of promoting it than I ever have before. I'm like not going to feel awkward talking about it. I'm going to remind all my friends. I'm actually texting every friend that I can think of today. If I missed you, if you're a friend and I didn't text you, sorry. I'm trying to get through as many as I can. I should have been doing it last week, but I was on vacation. So I'm going to try and let all my friends know, hey, the pre-order is live. You can come to the show if you want. Half the tickets are already gone. I like posted lightly about it before I went on vacation, and it's pretty much, I don't know if it's how close to being sold out it already is. So I was like, oh, I should probably tell people. If you'd like to come, please do. If you would like to support the book, it would mean a lot to me. And I hope you don't mind me sharing a lot about the process, stories that are in it, where I hope it goes, all those things over the coming weeks, because I think it's going to be very, very important for me. I think obviously there's personal and business reasons, but the way that I'm reminding myself to get out of my own way about this is that, I don't know, I just feel like there are 5 people out there that really need this book. I don't know why that number is stuck in my head. I obviously want to sell a lot more books than that, and I think a lot of people, if you've been following me, I think a lot of you will really enjoy this book, and I'm really proud of it. But there's just something about it, and I think being pushed back into that dark place and still feeling like I have sand in my eye right now is a very strong reminder that I'm not the only person that's gone through dark times. People have gone through worse, different things. We've all gone through our own things, right? But for those who get any semblance of hope from my story already, my hope is that this book finds those people, and the few that maybe don't know this story exists already, who just need to hear it. I'm going to go a little bit over on time for a vlog today, so forgive me for that too. But I'll end on this note. I think one of the I just told Tanisha, a friend, so Miguel and Nelson are who I had lunch with, and then Tanisha is who I had coffee with. She joined us after. And I've been really reluctant to say this to too many people because I don't know how it sounds. It's a really weird experience. I've never had this before. But when I got to the end of writing this book, especially when we got to the end of this edited version, and now we're like screaming ahead. Honestly, it did something for me where I was just like, I've done it. Like I've given something back. And it's just a very personal, weird feeling that I don't fully understand. I kind of likened it to how I have friends that when guys in particular that once they had kids, they completely calmed down. Like it just changed them. And it feels similar, except I don't have someone to be responsible for now. It feels like I made this thing and I'm giving it to my community. And the I don't I'm sticking around. I have a lot to give still, but um I felt like I did it. Like I don't if I were to get hit by a bus tomorrow, I would have at least contributed and left the world I think a little bit better than I found it. Which all I'm really out to do is try to clean up my corner of the world, you know. Like I just want to help a few people and help myself. I've learned how important it is to try and do as much good for myself as I can. But like, I just want to leave the world in a better place than I found it. I'll leave you with that. Also, I forgot to look up patron producer before I sat down to film this. So I'm going to just say that I'm going to look one up really quick. Thanks to Alison Magill and all my patrons. I didn't advertise this last time because I don't know. I feel cheesy, but I'm going to get out of my own way. At the end of my last book, I put the names of all my patrons. You see the credits going by right now, but I did the same thing at the end of my last book, and not just my active patrons. What you're seeing right now are my active paid patrons, but in my book, because they've been such a big part of my story and they mean so much to me, I put all my patrons in the back of that book, and I'm going to do the same with this one. So I didn't advertise it last time because I wanted it to be a fun surprise, and I didn't really want it to be an incentive to become a patron. But a lot of you have been thinking about it, I know. And so if you would like to jump into the back of the book, if video credits weren't enough for you, then now's the time to do that before it goes to print. Just saying. Thanks for watching. I will see you tomorrow.